Welcome to the multiverse of madness. The multiverse is your dreams. That is a theory scientists have been thinking about for a very long time, that when you dream, you are piercing the multiverse. I can believe that. I am Dr. Chris and Katie, the blonde in front of the multiverse, and we're here to talk about Dr. Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I have just seen and she saw a day ago. We had awesome giveaways at the AMC Theater, Dr. Strange comics and posters and trinkets, and they went. People were rabid for them once they started piling into the theater. I also smoked a crap ton of weed. No, I didn't. I did drink and then put on my 3D glasses, so I felt like I was in Steve Ditko's goddamn comic book from the 60s. If you're not a Marvel literate, Steve Ditko is the co-creator of Doctor Strange with Stan Lee. Steve Ditko, Stan Lee also created probably the only, created Doctor Strange, but also the most famous superhero on the planet Earth, Spider-Man. So they are responsible for those two characters in Marvel, along with all their supporting characters, like Wong, the Ancient One, Baron Mordo, Dormammu, Clea, and so on and so forth. And we're here to talk about
Dr. Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or what I call Dr. Strange in the Multiverse of Darkness, Dragged to Hell. Directed by Sam Raimi. So if you know Raimi, you'll understand those little additions I made to the title, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, and I'm going to butcher her name. I apologize. Chiwetel Gomez. It's with an X. Love it. Anyway, sure. It starts with Dr. Strange, or a version of Dr. Strange in a multiverse, trying to save a young girl. There's a monster after him. Bunch of CGI, woo, 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 woo. And we're in New York. Now, Dr. Strange, Stephen Strange, that we know from Endgame and Infinity War, and his own
Stephen Strange.
Yes, 616.
Which, by the way, 616 is the universe that the regular ongoing continuity Marvel comics exist in. However, in the Marvel comics, this is a different acronym number too. This is actually the release date of the first Iron Man movie. Yes, so 05 whatever it was, 2008.
That I did not know. So
yes,
we've
got
they
use
Stephen
the acronym
Strange
for the release date of Iron Man, the first movie, as the number for the live action universe. They don't call it a live action universe, but it's in the multiverse pantheon of the Watcher.
Neat. Yeah. So he's going to Rachel McAdams, his lovely friend Christine's wedding. And I'll get more into that, why I have an issue with this little subplot story. But while he's at the wedding, a monster comes that has this giant eyeball in the center of it.
Do you know the name of the monster?
What?
Do you know the name of the monster?
I don't, because I'm watching the movie, so all I see is a big squid thing with a giant eye, and he
is a longtime villain of Doctor Strange.
He is destroying New York, and he's going after this girl, and next thing you know, he's jumping into different multiverses. I did not watch this in 3D, which I think it definitely will be a better experience seeing it in the theater in 3D. I know when the movie started, immediately the crowd went into applause, which is always something I love when you're in a movie. But yeah, so he's saving this girl. He needs to find some magic to try and figure out how to capture the magic that she has inside her. So where do you go for the best witch other than Wanda? Turns out Wanda, not so good. A lot of stuff that's going on, maybe a little bit because of her, and we find that out. So next thing you know, Dr. Strange and this young prodigy named America just start flipping through multiverses. I will say this, again, I didn't see this in 3D, when they were going through multiple multiverses, I got a little dizzy. So just be careful with that, because that could get a little bit of vertigo. I was actually surprised. CGI during the multiverses, I mean, they go through like 8 in a matter of seconds. At one point, they're a bunch of like paint. I mean, I'm not going to spoil too much. And they get to this new multiverse, which is 838. Gorgeous, amazing. Different things happen. Stephen Strange in our multiverse, or in our universe, meets some different variants of him. Multiple cameos, a lot of references to different Raimi films, a lot of major nods to Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, big time, Drag Me to Hell. These are all Sam Raimi films. You can see his influence all over this. Almost, I would say it's almost more of a Raimi film than it is Marvel, which I think is good. Sometimes.
It becomes a giant Marvel movie right in that middle part.
Yeah, sometimes maybe not. However, some of the CGI in the beginning kind of reminded me of something from 20 years ago, but then you get to like the mid and later half of the film, and just honestly, it's intoxicating. There is a scene where Stephen Strange is going up a staircase. He's in this room of books, and then you just see this like inverted tornado just going out into the universe. Chef's kiss, gorgeous. Again, cameos, floored. My theater just completely in applause. I had my jaw dropped. Again, I don't watch trailers because I like to experience the film, not try and see everything about it before I get to experience it. And I'm not going to spoil anything, because I want anyone who watches this to go in there, have that excitement, be like a little child on Christmas morning, and see all these new packages that are going to familiar faces on the screen. Now, some of the things that I had an issue with. So one, I didn't have an issue with Wanda. Wanda, I think, is one of the fiercest antagonists that Marvel has ever had. There have been a few of the later films where actual people are killed in ways where it's not like they die out in the distance, you don't see it. I feel like since, honestly, the pandemic hit, it seems like people are just dying. Like they're gone, and they're gone, and you're seeing them die, which is like, ooh, kind of brutal. She takes that to like an 11. Like, she is one badass antagonist, and yeah, you gotta watch out for that. So a thing I didn't understand that was supposed to be a major plot point in the film. Again, this is the only spoiler I'm going to give. The whole storyline between Dr. Strange and Christine. Yes, we were introduced to them in the first Dr. Strange film. He has been in, at least that I can recall, 3 to 4 other films between that. Now, there's
the 2 Avengers and Spider-Man.
Awesome. There's plenty of people who have had relationships in films where even if their significant other is not in the film, they're mentioned. You see that for Longing. You see a little bit something like, oh, I wish they were here, all that stuff. From the first Doctor Strange film that he has started to this one, other than those 2, Rachel McAdams, I have not heard mentioned. Did
you watch What If?
What? No, I did not. Again,
okay,
movies.
So you're
movies.
You're missing. So all of the Disney Plus stuff. Yeah, especially like one of it, when like people who don't want and there were a couple of people in the theater like, I didn't see WandaVision. I'm like, you really missed a big chunk of explaining why Wanda is the way she is. WandaVision explains it up until the very last scene of that show. And what if his episode, what if Dr. Strange had lost his heart? Christine goes with him to that dinner and she dies in the car accident. And as a single moment in time that has to happen, he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, gets the Time Stone, tries to turn back time. She still dies in some other way. She dies and dies and dies repeatedly in front of her. And eventually he starts absorbing all the magic everywhere in the entire, as much as he can in the multiverse, to resurrect her, and ends up destroying the galaxy. And it's her and him living on a rock. And then the Watcher comes along and eventually makes recruits him into his weird ragtag team of Avengers to stop the ultimate Ultron, who's Ultron with the Infinity Gauntlet embedded in his Cerebro system. He basically takes the form, he takes Vision's body, puts his consciousness into it, and then kills Thanos and grabs the Infinity Stones and puts them in his body.
Okay, so sums up real quick. Watch What If. That basically would have summed it up. I did not. So all I know is that it went from Dr. Strange in that first film to this one. Apparently all this love that he had, which I never saw in any of the films, because, you know, I'm watching the movies. That was supposed to be a big thing.
Those aren't really like his film, though. He's going to share the spotlight.
What are you talking? What?
None of those films that he's in are Doctor Strange films. He's a guest star in every one. I mean, Thor shows up for 5 minutes. He shows up in Thor's movie for 5 minutes to go, my job is to watch the world, and your brother is a big problem on Earth. So if I help you find Odin, will you get off Earth? And he's like, sure. Goodbye, Dr. Strange. And then it's him and Wong talking about getting a sandwich when Banner crashes into the Sanctum Sanctorum with the warning that Thanos is coming to Earth. And then Thanos shows up on Earth. There's no time. I mean, you're right. He probably could have thought about Christine for a moment before he, disintegrates. But then he shows back up in Avengers for a brief moment to tell Tony, the one way we win, and this is it, snap your fingers and kill yourself, Tony. And then over in the Spider-Man movie, again, he's a bit character in that.
Yeah, but he's still in it. And I mean, Tony Stark was in different ones with Spider-Man, and he brought up Pepper Potts. I mean, this is my opinion. To me, I thought that was a little bit of a thing that I didn't understand why all of a sudden Christine was such a big deal. I thought that was a miss. I also thought that Wonder Core, that's supposed to be a big thing, sounds like some sort of retreat for Pilates. But other than that, it's kind of a mixed bag for me. I recommend seeing the film in the theater, see it for the cameos. Definitely don't spoil it for anybody. I'm not going to spoil it for you. And yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch is great. Benedict Wong is great. Elizabeth Olsen, fantastic. And yeah, I don't know if Sam Raimi is going to direct another Marvel film. Definitely his stamp all over it. Again, CGI kind of mixed. And then there was like kind of a Wizard of Oz moment that I thought was kind of cheesy and dumb. But other than that, check it out. There's definitely going to be more, because it says at the end, stay for the credits, stay for the post credits, and yeah, let us know what you think.
Did you mean Wundagore?
Yeah,
Wundagore is
I don't it's fine. It just sounds like a retreat for Pilates. That's what I want to say. It
Wundagore
sounds like
is the mountain where Wanda and Pietro were born. That's incredibly significant to Wanda's backstory.
Again, it sounds like a retreat for Pilates.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what Pilates are, but I don't understand how the two are connected. But it's the Wundagore Mountain is controlled by the High Evolutionary. He is a big player in the Marvel Universe. This is the first time I've ever heard of the Temple of Chthon. Chthon is the guy who wrote the Darkhold. The Darkhold is kind of like the Necronomicon in the Marvel Universe. It's had multiple users. I would be curious if we do see the Darkhold again. It could show up in Blade. Blade is supposed to be, dealing with vampires and things like that. We're getting Werewolf by Night as a Halloween special coming up. The Darkhold's tied to Werewolf by Night. Wundagore Mountain, not a big known connection with the Darkhold and Chthon that I'm aware of. But it was nice to hear that, because again, that is where Wanda and Pietro were born in the comics. So maybe they're trying to do some retcon They never say what America Chavez is, by the way. They do not say that she is a mutant, possibly, because in the comics she is a mutant or she's an Inhuman. And if they're trying to make the Inhumans work again, it'd be very odd. But I believe they're possibly trying to say she is a mutant because that is kind of like her big shtick and deal. Maybe she comes from someplace that mutants exist. It would be rather interesting. It was very interesting they got the actress to play her, considering I don't know how old this actress is, but she's definitely like a teenager. America Chavez is like our age, 30s, 40s in the comics. Beatrice something another from Brooklyn Nine-Nine had always been like a pick by fans to play her because she looked just like her in the comics, but they went with the very young actress to obviously make her last, through multiple films. So we'll see her again, most likely on some Disney Plus show. She is part of US Avengers, which is a US based Avenger team run by a bunch of weird characters that I'm not going to get into. But we will see her again with her like punching star-like powers. I don't actually know a lot about her, but I know her figure is a peg warmer right now at Target and Walmart. So go pick it up if you're a big fan of hers. The multiverse. You didn't talk about. We should talk about what the Multiverse of Madness is referring to.
Go ahead.
Doesn't have a good spine on it, but this is the collection of H.P. Lovecraft stories. The Mountain of Madness. I loved all the homages to the Mountain of Madness. Even though the Mountain of Madness takes place in Antarctica, this wasn't Antarctica, but it was still very nice that was what we were kind of getting, very Lovecraft themes and such. And the eyeballs galore, like Sam Raimi and his eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
That was some of the best stuff.
Yes, definitely many nods to Sam Raimi that are very apparent.
Was Michael Giacomo the composer for this film? Because he was the composer for the first one.
Danny Elfman?
No, Michael Giacomo.
For this film?
Yes.
Was Michael Giacomo?
Yes. Was he the composer?
I thought it said Danny Elfman at the end.
Oh, I saw Michael Giacomo.
I mean, you can IMDb it. I know Danny Elfman had something to do with music.
That'd be very funny, considering that Danny Elfman and Sam Raimi do not get along. The reason, they got into a big fight on Spider-Man 2, and he walked off. He didn't want to do Spider-Man 3 because of Sam. So someone else did the composing for Spider-Man 3. But Michael Giacomo was the composer for the first one, and he recently did the music for the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice to hear his his little what do you call it, his Dr. Strange kind of score, which is played here and there. He is not the composer for this movie, so maybe it is Danny Elfman.
Look at that.
There was another character that I was not. I really wish they would have done something more, but it was like more of like a like for the fans. There was the Green Bull.
Yes, I remember him at Kamar Taj.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Rentra. His name's Rentra. That's what it is. He's one of the multiverse. He's one of Dr. Strange's multiple apprentices throughout the history of the Strange pantheon. A lot of people actually thought he was going to get voiced by Bruce Campbell.
The effects on him were very impressive.
They seem to definitely have the same effects that they had in the first one, with the trippiness and the shining metal ring circle things throughout the film. The only thing that a lot of Doctor Strange fans really wish they had done was do the what do you call it? The every 5 minutes he would be yelling out some kind of like enchantment spell, like the horror hosts of Hargoth, or the Crimson Bands of Kitterak, and they don't do that in any of these films. The Book of the Vishanti, you can actually buy that now.
I would not. I would think you could probably buy the Book of Ashanti and the Dark Hold. I'm sure those are going to be, up on Amazon like any chance, and probably in Disney stores as soon as they can.
The Book of Ashanti was printed back at the beginning of January of this year. The Dark Hold, I have not seen any listing for a Dark Hold book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anything. So if that is coming, that has not shown up on any kind of purchasing website. But the Book of the Vishanti definitely has been a thing you can buy for a while, and it's filled with like all the stuff from the comic books, but it is written like the book within the context of the fiction, not like let's talk about what issue Dr. Strange first appeared in or anything like that. And there's a spell in the beginning of the Book of the Vishanti that helps you to understand the book, because it's written in the Vishanti language, and then it's translated by the magic spell of you reading the book. So little in context information to help move the book along. But it's really great if you're a Doctor Strange fan. It's like, I think like $20 hardcover. It's not bad. But it's chock full of like a lot of stuff that you saw in this film.
There you go, kids. If you want a little souvenir, go to that and buy the Book of Ashanti.
Recommend going to see it. I definitely would go see it twice, because it took me a while to really kind of like, I was paying attention from the beginning to end of this movie, but this is definitely a movie I have to see again in order to be like, okay, I saw it the first time, I know what's expecting. Now let me just absorb anything that I happen to miss. Like through the multiverse, when they're traversing, you're like trying to catch on what the hell you're seeing every 5 minutes. And I'm sure there's 1,000 YouTube videos about to be launched that's going to break down every single little piece of that multiverse trip, either now or definitely when this film comes on digital and Blu-ray. Because at least that way in digital and Blu-ray, you can pause and screenshot it and pause and screenshot it and be like, oh, it's the world of 2099. Oh, it's this world, and so on and so forth. So they were definitely going to make more Doctor Strange movies. I definitely hope they do. The next film in the Marvel pantheon of films is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder, which there was a trailer for in my showing. And we've got other Disney Plus stuff too coming, so who knows what that will tie into as well. So, but definitely go see the Multiverse of Madness. Check out Cati, the blonde in front, on her Facebook page. Just Facebook, right?
No, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, my website. There's plenty of stuff where you can look for the blonde in front.
Not Twitter.
No, Twitter's a cesspool.
And then you can look up Radio of Horror on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, sometimes TikTok. I'm leaving my TikTok up to someone else who has 7.2 million views on a couple of videos that I'm just like, you post TikTok about the thing we're doing. You have 7.2 million views. So we'll have a bigger presence on TikTok soon coming up. But like, subscribe, and comment in the other videos. And we'll be back with another exciting movie review sometime this summer with a horror movie at some point.